Hello and welcome to another episode of Awesome Life Design Podcast. This is a place where you can listen to inspiring stories from people who constantly push themselves out of their comfort zone and go into the growth mindset every day. And today I'm very curious to learn more about millionaire and trading mindset through Thomas Kralow, as he describes himself 7-year survivor of the financial markets. And there he is with how many screens behind you?
It's about 7, I believe.
Oh, so 7 years and 7 screens.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Awesome Podcast. And I'm very grateful and excited to have you here today.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
And how have you been through past months of this massive changes that have been, sweeping around the globe? And how has this time been for you?
Well, quite honestly, it does not really affect me that very much. I'm just basically sitting here at my trading station and I'm just watching the world from here. Nothing has changed for me besides the fact that the markets are a lot crazier with all the down moves and then sudden paradoxical up moves. So I'm actually enjoying that because the more volatility there is in the markets, the more movement, the more power, the more opportunities to make money.
That's what I usually hear from like high-level traders. They never complain about these turmoils and everything. It's just like numbers. So who were you before trading? Like if you go, I guess then 7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Who was that, Thomas?
It was a completely different person. I've never saw myself as somebody who'd be doing something out of the regular. Well, I grew up without a father and just with my mother, and she saw me as a lawyer, and I always aspired to become one. And I've lived in the States for a better part of my life, especially when I was younger. And that's where I went to college, and I was studying, well, it wasn't pre-law, it was criminal justice in the college, and I got enrolled quite a young age, and I was supposed to get my bachelor's degree at the age of 19. And I was ready for the Ivy League law school, so I was studying for LSATs. I had a tutor, and a lot of things were going on. It was almost like the American Pie kind of lifestyle that I had there. I discussed this topic on YouTube as well. I discovered the simple business of speculation, buying and selling things in the States. So I was able to support my life there and sometimes even pay for my college tuition. And but at some point, I met a guy who is now one of my best friends, my mentor, who actually taught me all this business. And he's a lot older guy from Switzerland. And when we met, he said, Thomas, so what's your dream? What do you want to do? And I said, well, it's as simple as going to Harvard. And I actually studied at Harvard 1 semester. So I lived in Boston with some of my friends, and I got accepted to. It wasn't like full-time enrollment; it was part-time, but it was Harvard Law, and it was a crazy experience. And I really wanted to go strive for Harvard Law School after I graduate with my bachelor's degree. And of course, I was working towards getting a U.S. passport as well. And then this guy shows up in my life, and he says, "Well, being a lawyer is all great, but how about you give this job a chance?" And I was always a curious person, a crazy guy that was always up for anything. And I saw the kind of money that he was throwing around constantly. So I thought that maybe it's true. I look at it from the perspective of somebody who is rational and who is a little bit more grown up. Then I would probably not even think about it. But back then, I said, okay, I gave up on my studies. I gave up on my naturalization process of getting a U.S. passport, which I lost the chance to because I moved out of the United States. And I basically moved to Switzerland to study with this guy, to learn from him. And he is not one of those like I am, for example. I take money for education. But this guy, he has never taught anybody besides me. So when he saw me, he saw the opportunity, the potential in me as a human being, because I was always, if I do something, I do it 110%, or I don't do it at all. And that's why he offered this kind of opportunity. And I've taken it. And quite honestly, it was the biggest risk I've ever taken in my entire life. Because I barely met the guy and I barely knew him. I met him through a relative. One of the relatives knew him for half a year at the time. And she just said that, listen, how about you meet, his name is Alf. How about you meet Alf and talk to him and see what he's all about? And that's how it all started. And it's quite a crazy story.
How did you not think he's a scam or something? I mean, like when it comes to trading, I think the second word is like scam.
Right.
For people who don't know. And like your story is like, if an Alf came to me and was like, hey, Monta, do you want to trade? I'm like, which scam artist is this?
Well, I did not think about it as he could be a scammer. I was thinking maybe he's a serial killer, because as a scam artist, he wants money from you. This guy didn't
right.
He didn't want anything besides my time. And he would take me out to London to stay at the most expensive hotels. We would fly in helicopters, and it was just insane. So I saw that this guy was filthy rich. Even though he looked quite poor, sometimes these super rich people, they look very simple. And he was one of those super simple looking guys, but he was and still is a lot richer than I am. And he's one of the richest guys that I am friends with. And so I wasn't worried about this being a scam. I was just worried, why would he want me to be his friend? And he really wanted this friendship, this communication. And then I realized the reason for it. He's just like myself. I might seem to be very serious about business, about trading, but the people who are in my inner circle, they know that I'm slightly different in terms of having fun. So I have the mentality of life is either a playground or nothing. So I'm not that very serious about life, I guess. I'm a bit cynical. And this guy, Alf, he's also a super cynical guy. So we could travel to Mallorca, stay at a very expensive villa, and watch Smurfs or some cartoons. It's crazy. If I would tell this story to some people, they look at me and they don't understand what's going on. And this Alf guy, he is trading more corporate. I'm doing more private kind of trading. And he is managing the amount of money that is above 1 billion euros. So he is quite a serious dude who is managing huge money. And he is watching cartoons with me. And this is the kind of thing that made me realize later on that this is how we connected. And when we would talk, we would have that black humor that most of the people would think that we are, bad people.
Yeah.
Just for fun, and we are enjoying life. And he is, I guess he never had this connection. Plus, he never had a family per se. He was always into the business. So at this point, he's about 55 years old. And so he had never had a son and never had any kids. And he had a wife before, but that didn't work out because of the amount of work that he's doing. And so it was just, as I say, some people win the lottery by scratching off the numbers. I won the lottery by meeting this guy.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Yeah. So did he inspire you to make the best trading system in the world that you have just launched?
No, this wasn't. He was actually against that because he was a little bit upset that I'm going to be sharing any of the information with other people. He is kind of a sacred, closed society type of guy. He believes in Illuminati. And and he doesn't really, he wasn't very happy about it. He wanted me to continue this job. But the inspiration was drawn from my own feelings and my desire to actually start a family. Because this business, it might seem very simple, and it seems simple because of a lot of fake gurus who promise you that they will teach you some simple structures and patterns within the shortest amount of time, like 2 weeks, and you'll start making millions. Even until this day, there are days when I lose a lot of money. Then maybe I'll make some money. Then I'll lose even more. There is nothing stable about trading. So that means that you're constantly zoned into this business. I might sometimes spend 12 to 18 hours per day at the trading screens. And it's a very stressful job. In my opinion, it's maybe a taxi driver in New York is a little bit more stressed. But in general, I think that this is something that is not very well balanced for a family life. So if I want to get married, have kids, I just cannot keep sitting here for 18 hours a day.